Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Data here with breaking news in the NHL. After we had just been live not too long ago with our NHL 24 series, we're having some internet issues. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise because breaking news in NHL that Chris Tanev has been traded. It's been kind of rumored for a little while that Dallas really seemed to be the front runners, and in the end, they did acquire Chris Tanev. So Chris Tanev has been traded from the Calgary Flames to the Dallas Stars in exchange for a second-round pick. We're going to get all the conditions and the years in a moment, but a second-round pick, a conditional third-round pick, and a prospect in Artem Grushnikov. So Grushnikov, who was drafted one spot after or before Logan Stankoven. It's interesting. Now Dallas receives the prospect that they had just in the same area as Stankoven, Artem, thank you. So Artem Grushnikov going to the Calgary Flames now, in exchange for Chris Tanev to be probably more of a rental type of thing. It was one pick after. So the Stars took Stankoven, and then one pick after was Grushnikov. Interesting. So I'm sure they were talking about him at that point. I'm sure Calgary has been interested in him beyond just trying to find a partner with Calgary. It seems as though he is nothing crazy to write home about, but we are going to look a bit deeper into who he is as a player. Big 6'2" defenseman who was drafted in the second round. So that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking this down, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start off with Chris Tanev. Chris Tanev, super valuable defenseman, defensive wizard, you might say, as Slim's been saying here in the chat. Let's try and get through ASAP before the internet shuts down on me. I just want to start breaking it down. I think this is a fantastic trade from the Dallas Stars, a great trade in terms of value for value. They get exactly what they needed on that right side defense. They acquire Chris Tanev, who, as Jay Fresh describes, is a high-end defense-first veteran defenseman who combines stabilizing play in his own end with excellent puck-moving skill. So don't look too much at the offense, which had that little spike in 22-23, that big spike, I should say. Look at the even strength offense over the last few years. Oh my goodness. Very high levels, very high percentiles of even strength defense. And over the last 3 years in terms of average weighted data, he's in that 100th percentile. And overall as a player, 88th percentile of projected wins above replacement percentile. So at 33 years of age, he is still an extremely valuable piece, especially for a team looking to go on a deep run. So don't look too much at the goals and the offense. That's nice little bonuses. Look at that 100 percentile of even strength defense. Look at the high levels of competition that he plays against, the 84th percentile. He plays with good teammates, absolutely. But to see the level of competition he's playing against, the penalties that he's drawing while putting up these levels of even strength defense, woo-hoo, my goodness. So it's going to be an incredible little, it's going to be a great little run here. It's going to be a great little run. And okay, interesting. The Devils are retaining on this deal as well, so that it's going to be at 25%. So it will be a 3-team trade. So let's go over to Twitter here. It's going to be a 3-team trade that involves New Jersey Devils, as just news coming out now. So it will be salary retention to the Devils, and in exchange for them helping out, there we go. In exchange for them helping out, the Devils will receive. So Cole Brady's being involved, and they're getting back a 4th-round pick. Interesting. Anything else going on here? No. Okay, so we're still waiting to see stuff about the official conditions on the trade and all that. But Grushnikov, he's in the first year of his entry-level deal, of course. If we want to look at, we'll get back to Tanev in a moment, but do you want to know about Artem Grushnikov? Who is he? What's up with him? He was the 48th overall selection in the 2021 draft. So as I was saying, in that same Stankoven area, Stankoven went 47. And then, so Dallas had back-to-back picks, Stankoven 47, Grushnikov 48. That's interesting. So Grushnikov, since then, he's been in the OHL with Hamilton, playing some big minutes, putting up some on his elite prospects. I'll show you the hits and the blocks, but not much of an offensive guy, that's for sure. 5 points in 44 games with Texas this year. Seems to be holding his own. He's a big 6'2" defenseman at 20 years of age. Will be turning 21 in just about 3 weeks from now, I believe. So Grushnikov goes Calgary's way. They get a big left-handed defenseman, young, definitely some, I would think, NHL upside. If we look at the elite prospects, If we look at the Elite Prospects page, which is also always riddled with advertisements, if we go ahead and scroll down a little bit, what can we read on him? Grushnikov can act both as the supporting element in the defensive pairing, the element who glues himself to off-puck attackers and denies them passes, and the engager. He can use his body and skating to win the puck one-on-one, along the boards, or in open ice, allowing his team to rapidly relaunch the attack, something he can occasionally do himself through short passes. So definitely not a lot of offensive upside, I don't think. He was playing, of course, Russia U16, U17, U18. He was playing internationally for them as well. This is his first year getting into the AHL, and he's been a consistent member of that lineup ever since. 44 games played. So it looks like he's a solid enough prospect who does have some AHL upside, was a second-round pick, has been developing nicely, and could turn into, in my mind, a guy who you could see on the second, third pair someday. A good shutdown, two-way flash, more defensive side of things defenseman. And those players have values. Those players have value, absolutely. Now, when it comes to Cole Brady, so Cole Brady is coming to Dallas. Is that what it is? Hey, Mackenzie, welcome to the stream. We'll see if we can stay live for Starfleet afterwards, but at least for this right now, we can get to the breaking news data cast here, instant reaction and analysis. So Cole Brady, so that's Grushnikov. We know how good Tanev is. We'll break the numbers down a bit more on him in a moment. No. Okay, here it is. So Tanev at 75% retained and Cole Brady going to Dallas as well. The Flames get a 2024 second, Grushnikov, and a conditional 2026 third. A fourth goes to New Jersey. So at its worst, the Stars give up a second, a third, a fourth, and Grushnikov. At its best, they give up a second, Grushnikov, and a fourth. So that third is conditional. Yeah. So there's the full trade. So give me a moment here. We'll pull up Cole Brady. We want to know a little bit about Cole Brady. We don't know anything about him. Dallas gets him back. I don't think he's much else than just a toss-in for the contracts, unless I'm thinking of the wrong player. I don't think he's very young either. Well, I think he's in his mid to late 20s. Actually, you know what? No. I'm thinking of, okay, this is the goalie. No, I was thinking of somebody else. Okay, so Cole Brady, here he is, a goaltender, 23 years old, former fifth-round pick of the New Jersey Devils in 2019. He's been playing for the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and it looks like he's not starting there either. Like this, what's he been doing over here in UMass? He's backing up Michael Hrabal, prospect of the Arizona Coyotes. Interesting. So Cole Brady has been backing up Michael Hrabal, and former fifth-round pick. I don't know, he's 23 now, yet to make the AHL or anything like that. I wouldn't say he's a total toss-in, because by toss-in, I mean, here's just a contract. Here's a guy who's going to be out of North America next year. Goodbye. So I wouldn't say he's a complete toss-in, but there's definitely not a lot of value to Cole Brady today. Could he become something? I think there are crazier stories of goalies, fifth-round picks who had late blooming careers. But I would say that this is mostly a toss-in, not entirely, but I'd say there is some toss-in elements there. So the Devils get a fourth. Dallas get Chris Tanev and Cole Brady. Why not? Take back somebody. Why not? A little project. Doesn't hurt. And the Flames get the most return here. Still not a ton, I would say, though, in and a conditional third. I would assume the conditional third is probably that they win the Stanley Cup, that Dallas would have to win the Cup. I doubt it would be something as simple as games played or stuff like that when it's a team that wants to win a Stanley Cup and he's potentially just a rental. Maybe if he resigns or something. So we'll get news on the conditions soon enough. Okay, here we go. It was a three-part. So trade number one, the Devils trade Brady to the Flames for Tanev, and then blah blah blah. If they win 3 rounds, so if they make the Stanley Cup final, there is the condition, ladies and gentlemen, a third-round pick if Dallas makes the Stanley Cup final in 2024. It will be a 2026 third if Dallas make the 2024 Stanley Cup final. All right, gotcha. So what that means for the salary cap, the draft pick situation now. So Dallas gives up a 2024 second, which means they have their 2024 first, but they don't pick in the second, third, or fourth round, even the sixth. So out of the 7 picks you can have in a draft, they have 3 left, 1, 5, 7. So 3 picks left for Dallas in 2024. In 2026, they already have their second and their conditional third gone in 2025, even a conditional fourth gone in 2025. And then in 2026, conditional third now also gone. So now it's the first time that they dip into their conditional selections. So this is very interesting. Dallas, they're starting to get into that all-in territory. They now have picks within the first 3 rounds potentially spoken for over the next 3 years. That's something. It's not a bad thing to do, but it definitely says something about what you're doing as an organization. If you have picks of the next 3 years and the next 3 rounds of the first 3 rounds potentially spoken for, it definitely sends a certain message to your team and what you want to be doing right now. So if I refresh right here, do I get Chris Tanev? Let's see. Yeah, I would think that, especially Sherratt getting his value, I would have thought that it would have been a first round pick or nothing for Chris Tanev, but it seems as though the second and Grushnikov pushed the needle enough. Is Chris Tanev here now? No, Tanev not here just yet. So if we go look at the Calgary Flames now, Calgary, they get a second and potentially a third. So now in this year's draft, they have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a third, 2 fourths, 5th, and a 6th. And they would also have a potential third round pick in 2026. Plus, yeah, 50% retention should have gotten more. A good point from Northie. Not only is this in the defensive market and all that stuff, kind of saying first round pick, is also 50 and even 75% retention, because you have to pay a 4th just to make this trade happen. Just to be allowed to make this trade, you have to also pay a 4th. So maybe that went into it a little bit, but there you go. So 50% retention. I don't think it's a huge return for Calgary. I don't think it's definitely a couple of project pieces involved there. So they have to make this sound like a final. Yeah, exactly. So let's get back to breaking it down a little bit. Yeah, I would say I would put this in a Jim Nill masterclass. I don't know if I wouldn't call it a fleece or anything, but I'd say it's a very good deal for Dallas. And you know what? If that's the ask, I'm surprised more teams weren't in on it then. So Dallas gets Chris Tanev, 88th percentile of projected wins above replacement over the last 3 years of average weighted data. But what you really want to look at is his even strength defense, up near that 100th percentile pretty much every year of the last 3 seasons. And when you look at the average, yes, he's in that 100th percentile. Andrew saying, I heard Shapiro, I think, saying some teams are higher on 2023 prospects than 2024 picks. So maybe the Flames just really like Grushnikov. Yeah, that's fine as well. He's a former second-round pick. He seems to be developing according to a good schedule. Grushnikov has value. It's Brady who's more of the toss-in. So Tanev, if we look at the Hockey DB page, not as much to see. He's 34. He's definitely close to the end of his career at this point, but he's still able to be a defensive wizard. What I find interesting about his career is that almost 800 games played, only 41 postseason games, 2 postseason appearances in his first 2 seasons. And then since 2013, since 2013, he's made the playoffs 3 times. So last, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, okay. I was counting it right. So 12 years, 3 postseason appearances, only 1 outside of, or maybe only 2 outside of the first round, only 1 that really went deep in 17 games with the Canucks and 17 games in 2020. So that being said, not an offensive guy at all. That's why we're not here to look at the points. We want to look at a bit of the deeper things, and it's the blocks. It's the blocks. He's received some Norris votes. He's received some Lady Bing votes, but he is definitely a shot blocker. He's a minute eater. He's a 20-plus minute guy who's going to block you 150-plus shots in a normal season. This year, he's blocked 171 in just 56 games. The last few years, 56 games, 107. 65 games, 130. 56 games, 171. So if we did over the course divided by 56, if we average that out, on an 82-game pace, that's 250 blocked shots. 250. That would be a career high. So he's blocking like an animal out there. Right. The other Tanev. And he's eating a lot of minutes, 18, 20, 21-minute guy. He's definitely doing a lot for his team. Now, will it be different in Dallas? For sure. If we look at Dallas and check out their depth chart right here, when we think about the defense in Dallas... Come on, there we go. defense in Dallas. When I look at the pairings that they have right here, if my first pair is Harley Heiskanen, which has been a great surprise, my second pair is Suter Lindell, then Hanley Hakanpää. So you definitely think a guy like Joel Hanley would come out of the lineup. Niels Lundqvist is also scratched, injured, all that stuff going on as well. Throw Tanev into your top four, allow someone like maybe Suter to get bumped down a little bit of a less ice time responsibility for him. Because you've got to think that he's playing in the tops in the top four, excuse me. So Tanev in that top four, bumping one of these top four guys down to the third pair with Hakanpää, who's already a hit and block shot beast himself. If Lindell and Tanev is your pair and Suter goes down, Suter plays with Hakanpää, I think this quickly becomes already a scary defensive core, becomes that much scarier. I'd put Dallas among the top defensive cores heading into the postseason at this point. Calgary, meanwhile, they continue to sell. You would think, who's next? I would think of all their UFAs on defense. You would think Hannafin's also going to be in there. You would think that I don't know. Jacob Markstrom has been in a lot of conversations as well. So you'd think that there's still more to come for Calgary. If we refresh over here, again, if you're just joining us, it is Chris Tanev being traded to the Dallas Stars in exchange for a second, a conditional third, and Artem Grushnikov. So yes, it has been updated here. So there's the third round pick for Calgary in 2026. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already for ongoing breaking news and analysis in the real world of hockey as we get closer and closer to the NHL trade deadline. Grushnikov, former second-round pick, 48th overall in 2021. Dallas had back-to-back picks. They took Stankoven at 47, then they took Grushnikov at 48, and they moved him now in this deal. He's been developing well, growing in the OHL. He had time in Russia. He was his first full season in the AHL. It looks to be doing okay according to what I can understand and take away from the images that we're getting right now. Of course, Chris Tanev, a ton of value, especially at even strength defense. That will go a long way for Dallas. And they also pick up Cole Brady as the New Jersey Devils are involved in the 3-team deal so that more salary can be retained. Cole Brady goes from New Jersey to Dallas for a 4th-round pick, and he'll be a project. I don't know if he'll ever become anything. He's just turned 23, still playing in UMass as the backup there. Former 5th-round pick. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, definitely a total buy-in from Dallas. Like I said earlier, for Dallas to say, okay, let me go back to look at the draft picks here. For Dallas to say that we are comfortable moving heavy picks like this, they have their next 3 first-round picks. So hats off to Jim Nill to say that we have our next 3 first-round picks. But they have, in the next, from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, of the next 3 years, they have 2 out of 9, potentially. They may have as little as 2 out of 9 of their next 3 years of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round picks. So that's going to hurt. That's where you get a lot of value in the draft. But just to say you still have your 3 firsts, that's not a horrible spot to be in as a buy-in team. So that's for 2024, they lock in that they have a 1st, a 5th, and a 7th, barring any other changes. In 2025, a 1st, a 3rd that might be moved in the Niels Lundqvist trade, then a 2 5th, a 6th, and a 7th. And then in 2026, they have all their picks minus the 4th and maybe the conditional 3rd. We'll see what happens if they make the Stanley Cup final here in 2024. So Chris Tanev is now here at $1.125 million, 75% retained, and he'll likely be playing on that second pair, I would think, with Esa Lindell. Yeah, it would be great. It would be a great story. Pavelski deserves a cup. I'd love to see Pavelski. I'd really like to see Matt Duchene win a Stanley Cup as well. Good young pieces, even guys who have been there a while and deserve it. Jamie Benn, say what you will about Jamie Benn, but I'd like to see Jamie Benn get one. Ryan Suter would be nice to see him get a cup as well. Yeah. Even throw Scott Wedgwood in there as well. Evgeny Dadonov, former Montreal Canadian. So that about does it for my breakdown, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Tanev, extremely valuable player, non-offensive guy, not a guy with playoff experience, but he's about to get ready for it. Mr. Shot Blocker. He's received Norris votes before. He's a trooper. He's 34. He's ready to go all in, and so are the Dallas Stars as they are moving a lot of their picks. They have $279K left for their projected cap space. I'd be surprised if they make many more moves. The Calgary Flames are moving into seller territory now. They have moved Chris Tanev. You would think guys like Noah Hanifin and maybe Jacob Markstrom are next. They now have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, depending on what happens with their 2024 first, with the Sean Monahan debacle. but that does add to overall value. Like a lot of these picks have asterisks next to them. Maybe they don't end up having all these, but it's good to just say that you've set yourself up for a lot of different contingencies. This team does well, we get that pick. That team doesn't do well, okay, well, we get that other pick. So Calgary, they're starting to set themselves up. I still want to see a lot more done from Calgary if they're going in that direction. Yeah, Hannafin's been linked to Florida, Markstrom with New Jersey. So a trade with New Jersey another one might be coming soon enough. Artem Grushnikov, we'll see what he becomes in Calgary. Definitely a bit of a project guy, but he's developing well. He's not like he's 22 and he's still trying to find his way out of Europe. He's 20. He's in the AHL. He's playing minutes over there. He's going to continue to develop, and we'll see if he can become that second, third pair guy in Calgary. Has good supporting elements as a defensive pairing, and he glues himself to off-puck attackers and denies them passes, and he's the engager there as well. Does this mark New Jersey as a seller? No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say they're trying to maybe even buy with the idea of getting Markstrom, because all they did here essentially was take a 4th round pick for some value. So they weaponized their cap space, and you can do that as a contender. If you have the cap space and you get a free 4th round pick, why not? So $460K, they retain a little bit on Chris Tanev. How much are they retaining on him then? So Chris Tanev, they retain 1.125 million only for this year, of course. Yeah. But so yeah, a good point from Northie as well. If something could be brewing there, if they're going to hold off on moving that many 1st-round picks, the Palat contract. Do you think something comes tomorrow? I don't know about tomorrow, but definitely in the week leading up here, that New Jersey gets another pick in here, which is nice in 2026. Throw that in there, but they're still in buyer category. I don't think that New Jersey should be saying, let's wait and see. I think they should figure out what's going on with their coach, and they should try to get back on the horse ASAP to be back at least at full strength for next year, at the very least. Yeah, maybe New Jersey should have done that earlier. I don't know what's going to happen with New Jersey and what kind of decisions they'll make, but if you can use cap space for free and get a 4th round pick, why not? Stanley Cup contender, bottom of the league. Doesn't hurt to do it either way. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is my instant reaction and analysis, about 20 minutes there on the Tanev deal. I don't think it's a fleece, but I think it's definitely a steal in terms of the market value to not give up a 1st-round pick or even any big prospects. And the Stars are a good team with good prospects. Forget the Stankoven. You got the Maverick Borks. You got the what's his name? Of course, I'm gonna blank on his name. Landon's gonna help me, but there's some solid the Christian Kyrou. You got those guys. That's who I'm trying to think of. You got some good prospects in the system that you didn't give up. You still have all 3 of your 1st-round picks. That's very valuable as buyers. Of course, you don't want to trade Bichelle, Wyatt Johnson. Yeah, but I put him more in the NHL category. So you don't want to move everything and everyone, but to be in an all-in type position and still have all 3 of your 1st-round picks, that's great. That's why you don't need the picks as much. You have a good young team as well. That's it. And Matt Dumba's not going for a 1st at this point. That's for sure. Jack, talk to me, baby. Yeah, he's not going to. Dumba won't go for a 1st at this point. David Savard, we'll see what happens there. We got to hope for David Savard if the Canadiens are going to be moving him. So it's a great deal for the Dallas Stars. Incredible value. The Flames they get value. I don't think they get as much as the market would have suggested that they could have. Maybe it just came down to the Dallas Stars totally rejecting giving a 1st, so they added the prospect instead. I don't know. It's still a rental. And it's not like there's not much upside in Tanev coming back to Dallas, I don't think, being 34, going on 35 next December. So I think that also plays into it. He's not one of those rentals who might get re-signed and then that adds to the value. I think he is a pure rental, and we'll see what happens from there. That's about it. New Jersey takes on a little bit of cap. They get a 4th-round pick. They give up a guy who they weren't going to use anyways. So the Devils are definitely winners here. They get a free 4th-round pick and dump a prospect who they didn't believe in anymore, I would assume. Dallas gets an incredible piece to help the right side defense at a good value price. And Calgary says, hey, at least we got something for an expiring contract, a guy who's young at 20 years old. We throw in a 2nd-round pick to our draft pick pile, maybe a conditional 3rd as well, and time moves on. So that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining. Leave a like if you enjoyed the breakdown. Leave a comment with your thoughts on who you think won this trade and why. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already for all the ongoing breaking news and analysis in the real world of hockey as we get closer to the trade deadline. Live streams will be coming as soon as the breaking news hits. So if you're sticking around live, we're going to try to go back to NHL 24, let's say 9 p.m. Eastern in 10 minutes. We're going to try to go back to NHL 24 for the San Francisco Starfleet live stream. If it doesn't work, we'll push it to Friday, but we'll try it one last time in 10 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Looking forward to an exciting trade deadline ahead. One of the big dominoes has already fallen. What does it mean for the landscape in the NHL? We will see. Have a great evening, everybody, and thanks for joining.